So, when you think about what makes a school good, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For a lot of us, it's probably test scores, right? Maybe graduation rates. But is that really the whole story? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain and see how education systems all over the world are creating a much more complete report card for their schools.
Right, let's really dig into this question. A school can have absolutely stellar exam results, but what does that tell you about what it's like day to day? What's the teaching quality like? How strong is the leadership? Is it even a good place to learn? Just looking at test scores, it's kind of like judging a restaurant by only looking at the final bill. It tells you nothing about the quality of the ingredients or the skill of the chef or the whole vibe of the place.
So, to get that full picture, many education systems use something called a quality framework. And honestly, the best way to think about it is like a big annual health checkup for a school. It's a super systematic way to check all the vital signs, everything from the principal's office right down to the classroom, just to make sure the school is healthy and doing its job well.
Okay, so to really see how this works in the real world, let's take a look at a specific example. We're going to head over to Malaysia, because their national system is just a fantastic blueprint for how you can build one of these things from scratch.
All right, here it is, SKPMG2. Now I know, the name is a bit of a mouthful. It stands for Standard Quality Pendidikan Malaysia Gelombang 2. Yeah, let's just stick with SKPMG2. But what it is the official tool that the Malaysian Ministry of Education uses to check up on every single school in the country. The mission, though, it's really simple. It's all about making sure that every student, no matter where they are, gets a consistent, high-quality education.
What I think is so smart about this framework is how it breaks down what makes a school tick into 4 key areas. See, it understands you can't just look at test scores on their own. It all starts at the top, right? With school leadership. How good is the principal? Then it looks at organizational management. Basically, how well is the school run? The resources, the systems. Then, and this is crucial, it dives right into the classroom to look at teaching and learning. And only after looking at all that does it connect everything to student outcomes. It's brilliant because you can see how each piece of the puzzle affects the others.
So, who are the people actually doing this health checkup? Well, these are highly trained school inspectors. And believe me, they have a very specific playbook they follow to make sure everything is done by the book, thoroughly and fairly.
An inspector's job is way more than just ticking boxes. You can think of them as part detective, part coach. They're on the ground, in the classrooms, seeing what's happening. They're also in the principal's office, digging through data. But here's the key thing. Their goal isn't just to find what's wrong. It's about spotting what's working well too, the strengths and the weaknesses, so they can give feedback that actually helps the school get better.
And to make sure everyone is on the same page, inspectors use a really detailed checklist. It's built around those 4 big areas we just talked about. They're looking for hard evidence. For leadership, is the principal actually trying to make things better? For teaching, what methods are the teachers using? They even look at the vibe of the classroom. This is super important because it means the final report isn't based on some gut feeling. It's based on real, measurable stuff.
Okay, so let's make this real. Picture it. An inspector is sitting in the back of a math class. What are they looking for? Well, they're not just checking if the kids are getting the answers right. Nope. They're asking things like, did the teacher explain why we're learning this today? Are the students actually engaged, asking questions, talking, or are they just zoned out? Do the worksheets and books actually help? It's a real boots-on-the-ground look at what quality feels like.
Okay, I know what you might be thinking. This sounds like a ton of work, right? For the inspectors and for the schools. So, what's the point? Why go through all this trouble? Well, it turns out this is exactly how you build a better education system brick by brick.
And the benefits? Well, they're super clear, and they all connect. Think about it. Teachers get specific feedback, so their teaching gets better. Principals see the hard data, so they can make smarter decisions. All this creates a culture of accountability where the school really owns its performance. And at the end of the day, who wins? The student. It's that simple. Better teaching and smarter management lead directly to better learning.
Now, we've been focused a lot on Malaysia's system, the SKPMG2. But I want to be clear, this whole idea of a formal school evaluation, it's not just a Malaysian thing. Not at all. In fact, it's pretty much a global standard. It's something you see in top-performing education systems all around the world.
So you've got Malaysia's SKPMG2, then you've got the UK with its very famous, and let's be honest, sometimes controversial, offset system. Singapore has what they call a school excellence model. And over in the US, you have all these different state-based accountability systems. The names are all different, but the core idea,
It's exactly the same. Monitor, evaluate, and improve.
Let's just quickly put two of these side by side. You have Malaysia's system, which is all about making sure there are consistent standards everywhere, and then you have the UK's Ofsted, which is more about driving improvement. See the difference? It's subtle. They might word it a little differently, but really they're two sides of the same coin. Both are laser-focused on the same things: teaching, leadership, and student results. That tells you that, hey, there's a real global agreement on what's important.
In this quote right here, it just nails it. At the end of the day, the point of these report cards isn't to punish schools. It's to empower them. It's a tool to help. The goal is to give a school a really clear diagnosis of its health so it can come up with a plan to get even stronger. So that brings us right back to where we started. We've seen just how deep and detailed a real school report card can be, way, way beyond just test scores. So it leaves us with one last question for you. If you were the one designing the report card, what would you measure? What do you think really makes a school great?